The information provided on this podcast is intended for general informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. While we discuss topics related to vegan health, diet, and fitness, always consult with a qualified healthcare provider or a registered dietitian before making any changes to your diet, fitness routine, or lifestyle, especially if you have existing health conditions.
Welcome to Good Vegan Meal, the podcast for lifelong vegans, people wanting to become vegan, or those interested in vegan living. We're here to make your lives better by giving you the information you need to succeed in your compassionate vegan lifestyle.
Today, we're navigating a topic that really touches the heart of our daily lives, our relationships. It's about how those deeply held personal values, specifically around veganism, intersect with, well, how we connect with people and share our spaces. It's easy to think going vegan is just about what's on your plate.
Right.
But our sources show it's so much more. It's about navigating friendships, family, partners, even just, the sanctity of your own home.
Exactly. For many people, this isn't just a dietary choice. It's a profound ethical commitment, a lifestyle thing that really reshapes how they see the world. And when that commitment bumps up against different viewpoints, whether it's a partner, a parent, friends, it can create some unexpected challenges, real complexities.
Yeah, complexities that need careful handling. We've got a really insightful stack of sources for this deep dive today. Everything from candid personal stories people have shared online to really practical expert advice on setting boundaries, communicating well, and keeping those connections healthy and respectful. Our mission today is to pull out the most vital nuggets of wisdom, give you some actionable strategies, things you can actually use to make sure your values are honored, while also hopefully strengthening the relationships that really matter to you.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. When we look at dating as a vegan, the stats from our sources are actually quite revealing. You might expect, a really strict stance. But only a tiny fraction, something like 8.7% of vegans said they'd never consider dating a non-vegan.
That's surprisingly low.
Right. And a much bigger group, 36%, are explicitly open to it. They believe love can bridge those dietary differences. Then there's 55%, a majority really, who say it kind of depends on various factors. So that suggests a pretty broad willingness to, try and make it work. And what's fascinating there is even with that openness in the vegan community to date non-vegans, it doesn't just erase the potential for friction. It's still there. We saw this Reddit user, Vegan for 5 years, who put it really well. They realized veganism had become a core value for them, a really fundamental thing. And they learned that while partners don't need to agree on everything, like every little preference,
of course,
a difference in core values, that can be deeply problematic. It can lead to real internal struggles if those core values aren't respected in the relationship. It just underscores it's not only about the food itself, it's the ethics, the morals it represents for that person.
That's such a powerful distinction, isn't it? It shifts from, do we eat the same stuff, to something much deeper, like, do we respect each other's fundamental convictions?
Yeah.
So where does that friction often come from then? Specifically, maybe from the non-vegan partner side.
Well, interestingly, it's often rooted in a perceived moral judgment, not necessarily an actual disagreement about the values themselves.
Wow, okay, perceived judgment.
Exactly. A non-vegan partner might not actually object to veganism in principle, but they might read your choices as, a silent criticism of their choices. They could feel excluded at meals, maybe judged, or they might start worrying that your values are drifting so far apart it actually threatens the relationship.
That feeling of, does my partner think I'm a bad person now?
Precisely that. That feeling can create a real barrier. So understanding their discomfort, acknowledging that perception, that's often the crucial first step.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, it really reframes the whole thing. So, okay, if we understand that underlying friction, the critical next step is communication. How do we bridge that gap? Our sources really hammer home the need to be upfront, transparent, right from the start.
Absolutely. Whether you're just starting to date someone or you're in established relationships, openly sharing why you're vegan. Is it ethics, the environment, health reasons, whatever it is, sharing that can set a really respectful, understanding tone. It's proactive. It helps your loved ones actually grasp your choices, and then they can decide if they can genuinely support them. It builds that mutual respect from day one.
But there's definitely a fine line, isn't there, between sharing your why And, well, sounding like you're giving a lecture.
Oh, for sure.
We've all maybe seen that person or maybe even been that person armed with all the facts and the documentary list. How do you share without becoming, preachy?
Right, and that's key. Instead of lecturing, the most effective way is usually to share information positively. Make it human, informative, make your why relatable, not like you're some kind of hero. Talk about how you feel.
Like personal experience.
Exactly. Maybe you feel more energetic. Or maybe learning about factory farming genuinely made you feel sick. Or perhaps veganism helped you heal your relationship with food. That kind of vulnerability, it invites empathy much more effectively than, a big debate or just dumping data on someone
That's a great point.
and offering to cook a delicious vegan meal together. That's often a fantastic, really natural way in. It shows how enjoyable the food can be, no pressure involved.
Okay, so that initial transparency sets the stage. But then how do we apply that same kind of thoughtful communication when we need to talk about our needs, our boundaries, and just everyday life? This feels like where it gets really practical.
Yeah, this is about developing the skill of speaking up assertively, but also effectively. Many of us, tend towards one extreme, either too passive, avoiding conflict, always trying to please people.
People pleasing.
Or maybe too aggressive, expressing ourselves in ways that feel angry or hostile. Thriving vegans, they learn to articulate their feelings, their needs, their perspectives respectfully. Often using I statements helps a lot, like, I feel uncomfortable when meat is stored right next to my food instead of, you always put meat next to my stuff.
Right, less accusatory.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from blame to just expressing your personal experience. And that invites a much more sort of heartfelt dialogue. It creates space to actually set boundaries and maybe explore new traditions together that aren't all about animal products.
That's a really great actionable tip, using I statements. Okay, so this brings us right to the practical side, especially sharing a home or going to social events. Our sources are super clear. There's no one-size-fits-all for boundaries. They absolutely have to align with your personal comfort level. What's okay for one vegan might be totally unacceptable for another.
Yeah, absolutely. And connecting this to the bigger picture, clearly defining these boundaries in shared spaces, it's just essential for your own comfort, your peace of mind. For people living with non-vegans, those kitchen rule discussions are paramount.
The kitchen seems like ground zero sometimes.
It really can be. So
Yeah.
you need to talk about things like, are animal products allowed in the fridge at all? Can they be cooked in the house? What about shared kitchenware? Cutting boards, pots, pans? We heard from that one Reddit user whose Omni husband actually suggested separate chopping boards.
Oh, wow. So compromise is possible.
It shows that respectful compromise absolutely can happen, but you need that open dialogue first.
Okay. And what about money? That can be a hitting stressor too, right? Shared finances?
Yes, definitely discuss shared finances. Are you okay with joint money being used to buy animal products? That's a conversation to have. And similarly, clarifying your stance on actually cooking or serving animal products yourself, maybe for a partner or for guests, that's important too. One author shared her boundary. She won't pay for it, won't cook it, won't serve anything non-plant-based.
But she was okay if her partner did.
Yeah, she was fine with her partner handling those things for guests. It really boils down to finding what feels right for your household, your specific comfort zone.
That makes sense. But what if bringing up those ground rules, especially before guests arrive, feels really awkward? Or maybe even confrontational, particularly with family? How do you handle that discomfort? Our sources had some pretty vivid examples of things going wrong.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, think about that Reddit post.
Yeah.
The user's father-in-law eating KFC on their couch,
Ah.
even though they had clear boundaries set beforehand.
Ugh.
And it wasn't just described as inconvenient, felt like a power play, like a deliberate disregard for their wishes.
Wow.
So to prevent that kind of situation, you really do need to proactively communicate those ground rules before guests arrive. Cover things like takeout, leftovers, groceries, and using analogies can be super helpful here.
Analogies like what?
Like you might say, look, you wouldn't smoke in someone's home if they asked you not to, right? Or you wouldn't bring pork into a kosher kitchen.
I see.
My vegan boundaries come from similar, deeply held beliefs. It's not just a preference. That helps non-vegans maybe grasp the seriousness of it for you.
That's a good way to frame it. The holiday season, though, that seems like a particular minefield. Traditions are so often centered around food, those boundaries can really get tested then.
Yeah, that raises a really important question. How do we navigate those situations? They can be so emotionally charged. During big festive gatherings, communicating early and clearly with the hosts about being vegan is absolutely key. Offering to bring a delicious, substantial vegan dish is always a good move.
Yeah, ensures you eat.
Exactly. Ensures you have something satisfying, plus it can be a really positive, no-pressure way to introduce others to plant-based food. And also, preparing some polite but firm responses for those potentially uncomfortable or intrusive questions. That's vital.
What kind of responses?
Something simple like, I appreciate your curiosity, but maybe let's just focus on enjoying the party together. Or even just, I'd rather not talk about it at the dinner table. That can gracefully redirect things. You really don't owe anyone a deep explanation for your core values, especially if the question doesn't feel like it's coming from a place of genuine curiosity.
Right. You don't have to defend yourself constantly. Okay, so beyond setting boundaries and managing the tricky bits, how do we actively nurture these relationships? It can't all be about defense, right? What we don't do or what others can't do.
Exactly. That's so important. It's crucial to cultivate an open-minded approach yourself, be understanding, acknowledge that not everyone's going to share your lifestyle. That basic respect, that's the foundation for a deeper connection. And focusing on shared meals can be a really wonderful bridge.
Shared meals, okay.
Start with dishes that are naturally vegan-friendly anyway, or maybe veganized classics that everyone loves. Think creamy mashed potatoes with plant milk, or a hearty gravy, or decadent desserts. Often, people won't even notice the difference. And it lets everyone share that food experience without anyone feeling left out.
Okay, but what about people who are like really resistant, maybe picky eaters or just suspicious of vegan food? What's a good entry point for them?
Our sources had a good suggestion there. Introduce vegan meatiness.
Vegan meatiness.
Yeah, basically plant-based versions of familiar, hearty comfort foods. Think delicious jackfruit pulled pork tacos. Or a really good grilled vegan cheeseburger. Plant-based chicken nuggets, things like that. These familiar, satisfying options can feel way more approachable than, say, a big kale salad if someone's skeptical.
Makes sense. Less intimidating.
Right. It fosters openness, shows them vegan food can be just as satisfying and comforting. It creates that breathing room for maybe trying other things later on.
I really like this next idea from the sources, this tiny bridges exercise. It feels like a powerful way to shift perspective away from division towards connection.
Yeah, it's a great one. The Tiny Bridges exercise basically encourages you to actively look for common ground with anyone, even people who seem to have totally opposing views. It could be anything, a shared hobby, a character trait you admire in them. Maybe you both like the same music or TV show.
Simple things.
Really simple things. The idea is to counteract that natural tendency we have to just focus on what separates us. Practicing this helps humanize people, it lowers resistance, and it gradually shifts your own feeling of belonging. You move from feeling othered to finding genuine connection. And that makes those difficult conversations, when they do come up, much smoother, much more empathetic.
So ultimately, it's really about remembering the bigger picture of the relationship itself, isn't it? Not getting lost in the food aspect.
Absolutely. Don't let the entire relationship just revolve around food. Make a point to prioritize non-food activities together. Go for walks, watch movies, explore new hobbies, visit places you both enjoy, whatever it is. And, maybe this is the most important part, let go of that fantasy that your partner must convert.
Oof. Yeah, that's a big one.
It is. Relationships thrive on mutual respect and acceptance. You share your truth, you live your values, but you don't turn your partner into some kind of project to be fixed or converted. Having regular check-ins, especially around those food-centric times like holidays, social events, travel, that can really help prevent resentment from building up. Make sure both people feel heard and understood as you go.
This definitely sounds like it involves a lot of emotional work, this continuous communication, setting boundaries, checking in. How do we make sure we're taking care of ourselves through all of this?
Self-care is absolutely paramount. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Right.
Setting and maintaining boundaries, especially around things you care about so deeply, it can be emotionally taxing. So remember to take breaks. Practice mindfulness. Find those moments of solitude that actually replenish your energy. You really need to listen to your intuition and set boundaries that feel genuinely right for you, not just what you think you should tolerate or what you see another vegan doing.
Right, it's personal.
It's deeply personal. Your well-being, your mental health has to be fundamental. And hey, sometimes that might even mean seeking professional guidance if you're really struggling with particularly challenging dynamics. There's no shame in that.
That's a good reminder. And it's interesting, it's not just about navigating things with non-vegans, but sometimes within the vegan community itself, right?
Yeah.
Our sources mentioned distinguishing between genuine veganism and maybe other movements that get conflated.
And that's a really crucial point, actually. You need to guard against what's sometimes called plant-based diet culture, which can sort of creep into the broader vegan movement.
What does that look like?
It often promotes a really restrictive approach. It focuses solely on clean eating or optimal health or weight loss, basically turning veganism into just another diet.
Rather than the ethical stance.
Exactly. Rather than the ethical stance, it truly is a movement for animal liberation. So be wary of content that's super rigid, restricting perfectly healthy vegan foods, or making wild promises about health transformations that are only linked to weight loss. Recognize those diet mentality traits. Perfectionism, thinking it's all about willpower, being afraid of bad foods even if they're vegan.
Like vegan junk food.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, practice giving yourself unconditional permission to enjoy a whole wide variety of vegan foods,
Oh, yeah.
including the vegan junk foods, without guilt. Because veganism isn't about personal perfection, it's about a larger purpose.
Finding your people, finding that support system seems like it would be a massive help here, especially navigating these nuances and maybe even potential conflicts within the community sometimes.
It truly is. A strong support network is so crucial for long-term well-being and sticking with it. Join vegan networks or groups, online, in person, whatever works for you. Find that community. Find inspiration. Find a safe space to share experiences and challenges without feeling judged. And even if your closest loved ones aren't vegan, try to cultivate vegan allies.
Vegan allies.
Yeah, non-vegans who genuinely get it, who support your choices without undermining you. They can advocate for you sometimes, help you navigate social stuff, and often they become more receptive to learning about veganism themselves, precisely because they don't feel personally pressured or judged by you. They can be incredibly valuable.
This deep dive has really shown us, I think, that navigating veganism within our relationships, our personal spaces, it's a journey. It's continuous, thoughtful communication, mutual respect, and honestly, profound self-awareness. It's about finding that delicate balance. Sometimes it feels really challenging between upholding your values with integrity and fostering those meaningful, loving connections.
Ultimately, yeah, it boils down to identifying what is truly important to you and then communicating that with both firmness but also compassion. By doing that, you create an environment where your vegan lifestyle isn't just, tolerated. It's genuinely understood. And most importantly, it's respected by the people around you.
So here's maybe a final provocative thought for you, our listeners, to mull over. Consider how actively embracing that tiny bridges philosophy, seeking common ground, humanizing people with different viewpoints, not just about food, but in all areas of your life. How could that fundamentally transform not just your closest relationships, but maybe your entire experience of the world? How can you try to embody connection rather than separation, even in the small daily interactions, maybe planting seeds for positive change without ever feeling like you have to preach or persuade anyone?
And just remember, you absolutely deserve to be with people who honor your values, even if they don't share the exact same plate. Whether you're looking for a partner who's respectful of your lifestyle or you're just trying to navigate the complexities of, the next holiday dinner, the path to a fulfilling vegan life really involves finding genuine understanding and always prioritizing your own well-being.
Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of Good Vegan Meal. If you loved what you heard and you're hungry for more, head over to our link tree at linktr.ee/goodveganmeal. There you can grab our free PDF 30 high-protein vegan 5-minute meals packed with quick recipes and full nutritional stats for every meal. Perfect for busy days and plant-powered gains. And if you're ready to take your vegan cooking game to the next level, check out our cookbook's 125-minute vegan meals for kids' lunches, a school lunchbox lifesaver, 185-minute vegan meals, and 7 weeks of high-protein meals with meal planning made simple with grocery lists for each week. Grab your goodies at linktr.ee/goodveganmeal, and we'll see you in the next episode.